Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So I want to talk about the Daryl show because Norman Reedus just gave a pretty big teaser for the show. And honestly, if this doesn't excite you, then I don't really know what's going to excite you about the Daryl show. But yeah, let's jump into this. So obviously, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. And also make sure to have your notifications on because there's going to be a lot of stuff that drops over the next couple of weeks here. Obviously, Comic-Con is in 3 weeks today. About 3 weeks anyways. We don't know the exact date, but based off of previous years, they usually have it on the Saturday, and it's Saturday today. So yeah, I'm saying about 3 weeks. There's going to be some stuff that comes out over the next couple of weeks, right? They're going to be promoting their appearance at Comic-Con. That there could be some first looks, some new images, some new information, interviews and stuff like that, release dates. At Comic-Con, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out, right? We're still waiting on that Tales of the Walking Dead trailer as well, because we haven't actually seen that trailer. So, we haven't gotten it yet, and Comic-Con is, like I said, 3 weeks away. So I'm assuming they're saving it until then. So I think this year's Comic-Con is probably going to be the biggest one yet, right? I can't remember a Comic-Con that's been this big in the past. I think in the past, it was just Walking Dead stuff, and that was, or maybe Fear 2. There wasn't really a lot. And I know in the last couple of years, they've released some stuff or whatever, but the last 2 years, I mean, they weren't in person. So it's just different. I don't really count the last 2 years at Comic-Con. To me, this year is the first real Comic-Con in a long time. But anyways, I do want to get into this. So obviously, like I said, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content, all the breaking news that drops as soon as it comes out. I saw this article here, and I'm going to leave a link down below. The article is from a website called Leo Edit, and Norman Reedus did an interview here. He's been doing a lot of stuff lately. I'm guessing it's for The Walking Dead, but it's also maybe for Ride as well. That, and I think also his book, because this article here is from May 17th, 2022. So I'm guessing this is from when he was actually promoting it and whatnot. And I actually saw this because comicbook.com did an article about the Daryl show. They left a link to this article here because I guess that's where they were getting it from, and so I just decided to read this, and I found a lot more information here that I actually want to really get into here. So the one thing that he actually does say in terms of filming for the Daryl show is that he doesn't know exactly when they're going to be filming, but he's thinking possibly in September. So I'm assuming that the fact that he knows it's going to be a little bit later, that this show is likely going to be releasing after Isle of the Dead. So, I know they announced the show first, but I just think, honestly, just based off of the last few years and the last of the bigger announcements, I think that's the one thing AMC does. If there's going to be heartbreaking news here for Walking Dead fans, they're going to announce it with some positive news, right? Rick left the show, but he's getting movies. Oh, The Walking Dead's ending, but we're going to get a Daryl spinoff, right? So that's why I always say, just wait for Comic-Con this year. And if there's nothing at Comic-Con, wait until The Walking Dead ends later this year. But we're going to get something Rick related for sure. If we don't get it, then then we're definitely in uncharted territory, because I don't even know what to expect at that point if there's no real Rick update, right? At the end of the year, The Walking Dead's over and we're getting spin-offs, and yeah, Isle of the Dead and the Daryl show is going to be exciting. They're going to be looking for Rick. I'm sure we're going to be all hyped about that, but there's got to be that news there, right? And I think all of us feeling down about that. Again, I don't even want to go there because I do feel pretty confident that they are going to announce something. I'm not 100% on Comic-Con, but with The Walking Dead ending, I feel pretty confident in that, because when that show ends, you got a picture of what it's going to be like at the end of November, right? The very last episode airs on cable. It's going to be really insane. There's going to be interviews with Andrew Lincoln and all that. People are going to be congratulating the show, this and that. There's going to be stuff that comes out. You got to think of just the way it's going to be then, right? But yeah, anyways, Norman Reedus filming in September for the Daryl show. That's going to be kind of exciting. Honestly, I can't wait for Isle of the Dead to start filming, because I think that's the weird thing about this time of year is usually they're filming the next season, right? Usually just in previous years during May and June and July or whatever, they're filming for the next season, but they're done filming The Walking Dead. So I think that's why it's been so quiet over the last couple of months. They've been done filming for a while, right? So we're just kind of waiting for some new stuff to come out. But as soon as Isle of the Dead starts filming later on this year, I think things are going to start to feel a lot more normal. And honestly, I think with that show, we're going to have to really be careful for spoilers, because they're going to be filming in New York City. Like, people are going to be getting shots of this or that. Like, they might see a CRM troop, or their, walkers might look different. Like, we're going to have to watch out for that, because that's, shooting in New York City, there's going to be a lot more people there to take photos and whatnot. There's also this excerpt here where he talks about the show. He says, Melissa McBride was supposed to do the show, but she wants to take a break after 12 years. She deserves a break, and she's got some personal things that she needs to take care of. And during the break, they said, hey, you want to go on a mission? And I was like, yeah, let's go on a mission. So I'll be going on a mission. There's some of the characters on the show that are missing. Maybe I'll run into one or two of them. So the world of The Walking Dead is kind of expanding into different territories and different storylines. They're kind of splitting it up. And eventually, I think some of these characters will come back together. She and I will definitely come back together. So, for Daryl and Carol, like, obviously Carol's not going to be in season 1 of this show. But for season 2, I think Carol will likely return, or maybe in season 3, right? Like, I do think we're going to see her back a lot quicker than we think. I think the location of filming in Europe was just a bit too much. And the thing is, like, the one thing I want to say about that is Norman Reedus really doesn't have any say at all in what's going on with the Daryl show. Like, he actually says in the article, and again, I'm going to leave a link to it. It's really a great read. I read the entire thing. I'm only taking like 3 things from this, but I really recommend checking it out. But like, he really goes into it. Like, he has no say whatsoever on what's going on with the Daryl show. Like, he's literally just an actor for hire. He just goes there and does that. And he actually quotes, or not quotes, but he says, Jack Nicholson said something about that, in the past, where it was like, if he has a say in just things that he wants to do, in terms of acting, then everything he does is going to be the same. But if someone else is writing it and he just throws all of his trust in a new director, a new writer, and someone else is doing it, and he just kind of shows up and just acts it and just does whatever the hell they tell him to do, then it's more fresh and it's actually new. So that's what he really wanted to do with the Daryl show, and that's what he's been doing lately a lot with The Walking Dead in general. So that, I think, is really smart. And he also, obviously, he mentioned the whole thing there with, missing characters and whatnot. And, in terms of which characters he's talking about, it's really hard to say, because there are characters that are missing. Which characters are missing? I don't think it's going to be Heath. I know everyone brings him up, but like, he's just that one character that he wasn't, like, he was a cool character. I'll say that. He was definitely a really cool character when he was on the show, but no one really remembers him. He's not that big of a character. And I think if he was around for a little bit longer, people would have grown to love him, because I like him. Really, because, I mean, obviously he was a cool character on the show, but it was mostly because of the comic. And so, I just, in terms of reuniting with the character, I just don't see it being Heath. But I think it could be Jadis. Jadis is technically missing to some of the other characters, right? There's Michonne, and obviously there's Rick. Rick is the one where I originally thought, well, maybe not, just because it doesn't really make too much sense to reintroduce him in the show, because obviously just through the movie, right? But I actually do really wonder about that. Like, maybe you could have a cameo, or you could do something if it's building to the movie. Like, you got to remember, Norman Reedus said that the scope of the movies have changed. And I don't know necessarily what that means, but like, what if that meant that it's not necessarily going to be a Rick movie, but it's going to be a Walking Dead movie, right? So the spin-offs, they're going to sort of go in and out of the movies, but the movies might have some of those characters, right? Like, it could be something like that. They could be juggling something like that. So yeah, in terms of which characters, I mean, Rick, obviously, because of that movie, I'm not going to say that's likely, but I think Michonne is very likely, and I also think Jadis is also very likely. He does say that the show is going to be very, very different, and a big reason is because of like the language and stuff like that, the location and everything, and just, everything's going to look so different. So here, I'm going to read another excerpt here. He says, sure, there's going to be a spinoff, and it'll be me alone, and I'll be on this mission, and those characters will come back together later on down the road, of course, and other characters that have gone missing I'll probably run into. But the spinoff will look totally different from the show. It'll be completely different. And to be honest, you wouldn't want to do this show as a spinoff exactly the same by yourself. It's terrifying. So I just find it funny that he keeps mentioning, there's characters that have gone missing that he's probably going to run into. Like, it seems like he knows something. That's the second time he said that. Like, I think he knows something about the characters that have gone missing on the show, or just in the universe in general, and how they're going to pop up back in the story. And Michonne, I think, is a strong possibility. I really think Michonne could be a strong possibility. Jadis as well. You know, I think having Daryl and Jadis, I mean, Jadis obviously just did World Beyond, but I think having her like on the Daryl show or whatever it's going to be called. Honestly, I really can't wait for it to have a name. I'm sick and tired of calling it the Daryl show. But like once she's on that show, man, it's going to look just, if she is, of course, but it's gonna, I think it would be really incredible to have those scenes, to have Jadis and Daryl talking and whatnot. But again, I still think Michonne is also a strong possibility. It really depends on Danai Gurira, but I think she would return for something like this, especially because they're filming in Europe and stuff like that, right? So it's a lot more fun, I think. He does also confirm in the article here that they are filming overseas for sure. I know a lot of people were questioning whether or not that was actually happening, but he does confirm that it is actually happening. They are shooting overseas. And he also says that it doesn't seem like he's really going to be done playing Daryl for a while. Like, he's really not sure, but he just really likes the idea of playing this character forever, like playing a character on television for a long time and just having that character age and get old as he's getting old. And I get that. You know, imagine if he's playing Daryl in 2034, 2035. You know, I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's going to be closer to 60 by then. But, you know, like just having the character aging like that, and then eventually one day being done, I think it would just be such a crazy work of art. Like, to be honest, like looking at this zombie apocalypse story from the very beginning of when it first happened, seeing the way Daryl was back then, and then just seeing him throughout the years, over 20, 25 years, just age and get old, have white hair or whatever, gray hair. I just think it would be really incredible, to be honest. And then maybe the character dies or something like that. It would just be such a really, like, honestly, an incredible moment. And I get it. Like, I totally get why he likes playing this character and just, you know, the idea of that, playing a character like that on television for so long. But there's a lot of interesting things going on in his life. I mean, like, this Daryl show, honestly, is going to be really incredible. Like, I really recommend checking out the article. Like, they go into quite a bit of stuff there. And honestly, just reading it, like, it really makes me, like, that much more confident that the Rick movie is going to come out. And like, honestly, just like I said, reading this article, it makes so much sense. Like, that's why I always say, you know, like, just because it's quiet and we're not hearing things, it doesn't mean that those things aren't happening. I know it's really quiet, but a lot of it could be because they're waiting for The Walking Dead to end, right? They want to, like, the story has to change a lot. They're announcing so many things. I just think that Comic-Con is coming up right away, and then we also have, obviously, like the end of The Walking Dead when it ends in November. We have those two times for things to come out. I think that for sure they will announce something then. Like, I can't see Scott Gimple being quiet after all of that. I just really can't. Honestly, I'd be more shocked if he was quiet after Comic-Con this year. So, but yeah, I guess the one question I have for you guys is, how much do you think the World Beyond post-credit scene plays a role in this spinoff? Because, I mean, obviously, you know, the post-credit scene is based in Europe. Daryl's going to Europe. You know, like, I don't know what that teaser was for, or the post-credit scene was for, if it wasn't for the Daryl show. Like, I'm trying to think of what it would be. Would it be for Tales of the Walking Dead? Maybe. But it just kind of makes sense with where they're going, with where the story is at right now, that that Daryl's going to be going there. And I think that's why this spinoff is going to look very different. I think everything, obviously, just like story-wise, look-wise, location-wise, just everything's going to look, you know, different and whatnot. And I just think the zombie aspect, you know, having running zombies, is also going to be a very exciting one that looks very different. So yeah, anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.